Hello, everyone. Good evening. A very warm welcome to the Third Man Cricket Show, where we are going to cover the all important series. Not so important in terms of the hype and everything, but it is a very important series considering the future of Indian cricket, and that is the India's tour of Sri Lanka, which is scheduled to happen in the next month, where we got some exciting fixtures. So, as we know that from 13th of July, we are going to be playing three ODIs and three T20s in that series, and quite a lot of discussion to be made in this aspect. And we are fortunate to have two really great guests on our show. So we got Rishi and Mithilesh. So really excited to have you both on the show, and really looking forward to a healthy discussion about the squad that has been picked for this tour, and quite a lot of debate also we cooked in terms of one or two places. So can we just have the squad displayed on the screen so that we know exactly what we are going to cover? So we know that Shikhar Dhawan has indeed been named as the captain for this tour, and certainly, I mean, that guy has been really a great servant for Indian cricket for last 5 or 6 years, and he deserves that place. And also, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, the returning player in this year, has been named as the vice captain for Team India, and really an exciting bunch of cricketers. A young team so far has been picked for this tour. So. Without wasting any further time, let us dive down deep into discussion. So Mithilesh and Rishi, really so much to talk about, especially with some of the positions that are there. So we know that we are going to be focusing on the top order because India is going to face that transition problem after 2023 World Cup. So this kind of series actually will help us to identify those missing players in the squad. So let us start off with the top order. Shikhar Dhawan, named as the captain of the Indian team, deserving candidate. So, Mithilesh, your thoughts on Shikhar Dhawan being named as the captain for this tour, and talk about his journey as a limited over specialist for India.
Absolutely. Shikhar Dhawan was the one of the biggest contender for the captain for this limited over squad, because we saw that each and every senior members are touring to UK for their World Test Championship final, and with the England series, and with that quarantine kind of thing, that the team that gone to UK will not be come to Sri Lanka to play this limited over series, and this is the greatest opportunity for the youngsters to go and show that talent over in the international circuit. And Shikhar Dhawan, being a senior player playing those limited over series from last 6 to 7 years, with a great experience playing all around the world, he knows that condition better, and he know how to handle. And especially you have Rahul Dravid as a coach with you, so it really learning curve for the youngsters that have been selected into the squad. And yes, Shikhar Dhawan is the ideal pick as a captain for any squad. If Rohit and Virat Kohli in the absence of both of them.
Definitely, and we know the heroics that Shikhar Dhawan has had, especially in the ICC tournaments, playing for Team India in limited overs format. And who could forget his man of the tournament kind of a series in that triumph in 2013, and also to back it up with a splendid World Cup in 2015 and 2019. I think he deserves that captaincy. So, Rishi, I would just like to ask you, Shikhar Dhawan as a captain, we haven't seen too much of him. Yes, he did captain for a couple of matches as in the Sunrisers Hyderabad setup when he was a part of the Orange Army. So what are you expecting of Shikhar Dhawan, the captain, in this context? Because we know that he is not going to be, of course, obviously the future choice of captain after Virat Kohli or even Rohit Sharma if something strange happens in the T20 format. So, what do you honestly expect from Shikhar Dhawan, the captain?
Now we see there are two things in this, that one is that the team, how the team is, that the team composure. So when he captained the Sunrisers Hyderabad, maybe he did not have the players that he wanted. Maybe, like, sometimes it is that IPL auction, so you do not get the players which you actually want in your team. You have to just go ahead in the tournament with the players which you have in your team. So you expect something and you get something. So it's different, right? So here you have players which you already want. So you have selection committee here. You tell them which players you want, along with coach who is Rahul sir, and then you'll get the team. So I think in this series they'll go a little bit aggressive, because it is against Sri Lanka, and then the Sri Lankan team right now. So I do not have to tell how the team is right now. But then, yeah, and these boys are also very much experienced. They have good runs in India, and some people who are bowlers, they have good wickets. And actually one positive here is that what Rahul sir has got these people out of them is that takes them on India A tours. So because of that, they have experience all around the world. So if you take even the net bowlers in this side have played outside India, maybe one or two here and there who haven't played with India A, but apart from that, Ishan Porel or anybody who they have played outside India, so they have the knowledge of what the plays like. So they do not have to be dependent on the captain what he says. So I think Shikhar Dhawan would be little bit relaxed in this series, but yeah, it will be a good experience I think for Shikhar Dhawan.
Definitely, and who wouldn't be relaxed under the guidance of the legend himself, Sir Rahul Dravid, who is going to be the coach for Team India, especially knowing that the squad is fully packed with youngsters. And talking about Shikhar Dhawan, let us talk about the next player that we are going to discuss upon, and that is his Delhi Capitals partner, the man who has actually turned it around since the start of the Prithvi Shaw himself. He was regarded as the next big thing, and after that. Disappointing Australia tour, though just got one test match and he was exposed with against the swinging ball. He came back really well in that domestic season for Mumbai. I think a record-breaking tour season for him, and to back it up with a good IPL also till the time it was continued. So, Mithilesh, Prithvi Shaw's turnaround has really worked out really well for him, and possibly he could be the starter in the first ODI that we play along with Shikhar Dhawan in the lineup. So, what do you make of Prithvi Shaw?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a no-brainer that he will start with Shikhar Dhawan as an opener for the upcoming series in the one day or it may be T20 because you look at his past performance from Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy or even IPL. He was just amazing. Means playing those quick shots and big score. He was scoring consistently, and I think the Shikhar Dhawan and Prithvi Shaw understand the game better, and I think that will be the biggest advantage for the Indian team going into the series. They know each other better because they were playing as an opener from last past two IPLs, and I think the turnaround for Prithvi Shaw, he worked hard on his technique and honestly speaking, you are going to Sri Lanka with the under the guidance of Rahul Dravid, so he can figure out his mistakes from on that too. It's the greatest learning curve for him on going on that too because we saw that during the first test match he was drop out after the first test match. So this is the great thing that he will be going to Sri Lanka under the guidance of Rahul Dravid. Make sure he will learn from something from him and just you don't know what future lies for you. He can make a comeback in the squad for even in the test squad. So yeah, that's a great curve, and he has been a great turnaround for Team India, and no brainer. He will be start as an opener for us.
Definitely. And as we talk about Prithvi Shaw, let us talk also about the competitors for that opening spot. As Vignesh in the comment rightly said that Shikhar is who is going to be the captain, so he's obviously going to play all the matches that is in hand. Shaw has had international experience too. So, Rishi, do you think that there is a possible chance that if Shaw gets off to a good start, knowing that he is going to start off the tour for Team India as the opening batsman, do you think there is a chance that someone like Devdutt Padikkal and even Ruturaj Gaikwad might not get a game in this tour, as India wouldn't want to change too much in terms of finding that ideal combination at the top of the order? So, if you were someone like a Devdutt Padikkal and Ruturaj Gaikwad right now on this tour, what would be going on in your mindset, knowing that you need to maybe think that realistically it is not a chance for you to start off the tour, knowing that Shaw and Dhawan will be starting off, given that experience.
So one thing that goes here is that you have to be a team man. So you have to understand what the team requires. If the team requires you, they'll call you. If the team doesn't require you, you have only one thing to do. There's nothing for you to lose. So you can only learn from what you can, what you can see in the front. You have two experienced players. I mean, one is that Shikhar Dhawan, who has so much of international experience, and second one is Prithvi Shaw. He doesn't have much experience, but then yeah, he's preferred. Why? Because he has much more experience than you. I mean, I'm talking from Devdutt Padikkal and Ruturaj Gaikwad's perspective. So yeah, I think Devdutt Padikkal will be the first preference if one of these people are maybe out of the series, or maybe Prithvi Shaw doesn't get to a good start in the ODI series. Then maybe in T20 series, Padikkal might just get a chance there. But then unless that happens, I don't think anything is going to be going wrong. I think Prithvi Shaw will have a good series. Both the series, ODI will be a comeback for him because he's already made his debut in the ODI before, like ODI internationals. Like so, yeah. So he will be making a comeback. I hope, just hope that Prithvi Shaw starts well and gets good runs and gets his confidence back, because we saw him losing his confidence earlier in this year and then gaining his confidence, but not at the international level. So I just desperately hope that he gets his confidence back. And not to feel sad for particular Ruturaj, as you know, this is Indian cricket. You might just get chance, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, or maybe some other day.
Interesting that you
Uh,
mentioned that, because there was a quote that went viral yesterday about Rahul Dravid's approach for the A2s, and how he is always willing to give each and every player a chance in that particular tour. So going by that quote and going by the experience of Rahul Dravid, we might see all the players who are selected to play
yeah.
at least one match in this particular series. So Mithilesh, your thoughts on Rahul Dravid's quote on that went viral, and do you possibly see someone like Devdutt Padikkal, and uh, even for that matter, Devdutt Padikkal making his way into the 11, if we look at split format approach that India will look to take, maybe have Prithvi Shaw open for the ODIs and Devdutt Padikkal for the T20. So what do you think? What kind of an approach India will take?
I think we can see that approach because looking at the Rahul Dravid quote that we read yesterday, that he told that each and every player who's touring with me will get an opportunity to play the game. So looking at that thing, I think Padikkal will get a game to play on. And what Rishi mentioned, that you should be a team man. What the team requirements, what the team management require, you should go for that. So yes, but looking at the Rahul Dravid quote, I can see Padikkal can be coming to play the in during the T20 series, and Prithvi Shaw for ODI. But I must say that each and every player will get an what in the one game that I can say according to the Rahul Dravid. But at
Maybe,
the end,
yeah.
yeah, go on, Rishi.
I was sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to say that maybe if they win the series, maybe then, like, suppose they go 2-0 in the ODI series, then they might give Ruturaj or a particular chance, because Ruturaj has a India A ODI 100. Like, he scored a ODI 100 in playing for India A against, I think, South Africa A, I guess. In India, only that match had happened in 2019, if I'm not wrong.
Exactly, and
Yeah,
while we're talking about the potential openers who are going to start and who is going to make their way into the 11, we talked about the Shaws, the Dhawans, Ruturaj. But there is one interesting name that has also been picked for this squad, and going by the outrage that has happened on social media in the last 12 or 24 hours, Nitish Rana's place in the 11 in the squad has been quite a debatable topic on social media, whether he deserved to be getting that India cap, or and if he is going to make his way into the 11, then what position would he bat, knowing that the opening slot has been a packed house for Team India. So Mithilesh, Nitish Rana in the Indian squad, do you think that he will be getting a game, and if yes, where could he possibly bat? Should India be looking at Nitish Rana in the middle order in this particular series? Is that the right approach to be taken?
I think it's a bit surprising for me that Nitish Rana has been picked into the Indian squad. But looking at his performance, mostly then top order batsman would play as an opener or at number three. But looking at the current squad, I see that number three is the fixed position for Surya Kumar Yadav. Looking at his past performance, and before we talked about the openers, possible opener. So I don't think Nitish Rana will get the game in the starting. Once if you get onto the series, if India win that series by two, if the first two match won by the India, then I think management will go for him for that last ODI or T20. But I don't see him as a starter in the playing 11.
So yeah, definitely. I saw one comment made by Abhinav that Sanchit isn't happy that Shivam Dube isn't there. Well, it's unfortunate, but it's okay. You rest your best players for the big series, so that's not a problem. Shivam Dube will be coming back into the 11
yes,
for the World
we'll
Cup.
make it.
Jokes aside, so talking about Nitish Rana, Rishi, we know that opening will not be an ideal position for him, as we know that we're
Yeah.
seeing a comment made by Saurabh Desai that India rarely goes with two left-handed openers. So maybe Nitish Rana won't be getting a game because of that two left-handed openers at the top of the order. So
Yes.
if Nitish Rana is set to play a game in this particular tour, he will be batting in the middle order. So do you agree with what Mithilesh has said about Rana in the middle order, or do you feel you have a different view on this?
Yeah, so I'll go back to what I said in the opening slot, that it again depends on what the team requires. So when he was playing for MI, if you remember, when he made his debut for MI in the IPL, he used to play in the middle order, and it was not a bad performance. Just because of 2018, that this mega auction period, he had to be released by MI. But after that, when he came to KKR, also he had been playing for a long time at the middle order places, maybe at number 4, number 3, anywhere. And then he was brought in as an opener because KKR didn't have any opener, or maybe you can say they wanted to try something new. They wanted to experiment out something new. But that wouldn't be the case here, because India have maybe 4 solid openers, you can say, in Prithvi Shaw, Shikhar Dhawan, Devdutt Padikkal, and Ruturaj Gaikwad. So they would want to keep Nitish Rana as maybe the replacement for, or you can say backup for Surya Kumar Yadav, and maybe number 4 slot. Now we do not know that who will bat at number 4. Maybe Ishan Kishan will bat at number 4, or maybe Sanju Samson will bat at 4, or maybe even you will get a surprise package, as in he will come and bat at number 4, Nitish Rana, and then number 5 maybe
I,
at number 5 maybe I mean, who was I saying, Ishan Kishan. But
Maybe
this
I
will
out
think
of
happen
maybe
only in ODI. Yeah,
just
I think
adding to the Rishi's point, I think Manish Pandey, even he's in the squad, and he's one of the experienced contender we
yes,
can say in this squad, because he's playing international cricket quite from 5 to 6 years. So I think at number 4, management will go with Manish Pandey as an experienced contender after the Shikhar Dhawan. If you look at the batting lineup.
might be Manish Pandey could be a possible number 4 in this series,
but
but given that what India has
yeah,
been doing in the past, I think he is suited for that number
yeah,
5 kind of a role
number
for
5,
Team
number
India.
6 position, number 5 position, correct?
But
Because
it's good that you
yeah,
brought the topic of that number 4 spot
right,
and who could play, maybe Samson or Ishan. So we had just one comment, and this is going to be cause a big debate amongst you guys. So
yeah,
will it be Sanju Samson to take the gloves, or will it be Ishan Kishan? So going by the current trend of form, as Vignesh has pointed out, that Ishan didn't have a good IPL and Sanju has had a very good game. So can't say very good, because Sanju has always struggled with that consistency in
yeah.
whatever time that is played. So maybe that could go against him. So let us start with you, Rishi. Sanju Samson, the wicket keeper, or Ishan Sharma, the Ishan Sharma. I'm sorry, uh, Ishan Kishan, the wicket keeper, because this is actually going to cause a lot of debate. We know that Ishan has had a great debut as an Indian player earlier when he played against England. So maybe that could work in his favor, starting off this tour. So if you had to pick your keeper for the starters, who would it be?
Ishan Kishan. I mean, yeah, because of the consistency he had showed in the last IPL. Maybe not this IPL. One IPL can go bad, but then previously he had showed great consistency. He was the highest run scorer for MI. That's not a joke. MI has such great batting order, and then being highest run scorer for MI is a commendable thing. Then he got an India call up. He scored a 50 and then got dropped in the next match, which was unfortunate. But then, yeah, again, whatever the team requires, you have to do. And then after that he had a bad IPL. But then I would say that he should be the first preference, because Sanju is maybe you can say he's a one match wonder, you can say, because what he himself believes, and what he himself has tweeted before, is that I believe in playing 1 out of 10 matches. So he believes in scoring a big score in like one big score in 10 matches. After that, another 10 matches he'll score one big score. So and that's not what Kohli believes, right? Kohli, Rohit Sharma, they believe to score consistently. So going forward for the World Cup, or for even T20 World Cup, even 50 over World Cup, you wouldn't want such players in your team, right? Who will be one match wonders. You would want every player to contribute equally. You cannot keep somebody in your squad, ask him, you score, I'll give you 10 matches, you score 100, and rest matches you can take rest, just come in, bat, you get out also, no problem. That shouldn't happen, right? But
Well,
Ishan
exact.
Kishan, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so this is actually a very interesting point made here by Rishi. It is about what India wants from that player that they're going to
Yeah,
choose. So we know that one of Ishan Kishan or Sanju Samson will be potentially batting in it at that number four spot. So it all depends about what kind of a player does India need at that number four position. So we know that
and
Sanju
Ishan,
Samson.
yeah, and Ishan Kishan hasn't had many bad matches. Maybe some here and there. This IPL season, you can maybe forget. Maybe he himself can forget this IPL season. But apart from that, he had a great Vijay Hazare trophy as well. In the first game itself, he had scored about, I think, 150 plus score if I'm not wrong. And then before that as well. So yeah, he has been in the good form. And if you say that he had scored a debut 50 on his T20 debut, so that would be in his bag. So he would be having that confidence.
Well, definitely. I think as we talked about what India would be expecting from that player batting in at number four, so we know that consistency is not something that you would expect from someone like Sanju Samson. So if they really want to look for consistency, then maybe their option is Ishan Kishan, as we know that he actually delivered for them in that 2020 IPL triumph. So maybe that could actually mean Ishan Kishan will be starting ahead of someone like Sanju Samson. But as Vignesh has mentioned in the comments, that is there a chance that Sanju's mindset could have changed after being a captain? So Mithilesh, this is a very interesting point that I would like to ask you. Is that we know that the added bit of responsibility you get after being named as the captain could actually even lead to a turnaround in the way how you approach batting. So maybe that could mean that Sanju Samson will be more consistent in the years going forward. So what do you make of maybe the captaincy being put in for Sanju Samson, maybe working wonders for his career, and what could it mean for his India career going ahead?
I think the adding responsibility is the key for any player, because if you get a responsibility, you become something mature. Even people started expecting from you. Even your teammates started expect. They looked at you. They looked upon you, because if a captain scores and plays, then each and every player get motivated. So I think that captaincy responsibility can add some wonders for Sanju Samson to become that consistent, because we know how he just play one game, then he has been consistent for the coming 5 to 6 games. But I think if you taking about the number four position as a wicket keeper, I think Sanju Samson can go in that position, because looking at the wicket keeping skills, I think he will be just ahead of the Ishan Kishan looking at the wicket
Yeah,
keeping skills.
right.
But so that's my point. But yeah, adding responsibility as a captain on Sanju Samson, I think he can play much better. And we saw during this IPL, he was becoming a little bit matured. We saw him a bit mature. Just that game against that he scored a century. That was a so close-up game for him. I think he just pulled out that game one-handedly. So we saw that as a captain is getting bit mature, but yeah, but we expect him to perform, because when he started off in 2013, we were looking him as a big something big thing in the Indian cricket. Yeah, so yeah, we
Yeah,
can expect something more from him, bit of consistency from him, and going ahead with and working with Rahul Dravid, I can think that responsibility of captainship, then coming with going with Rahul Dravid on that tour. So that can be a turning point on his career, and he can be a more consistent as a player and as a wicket keeper.
Right.
right.
So we already had two coins of two side of the coin being discussed as Rishi here was favoring Ishan Kishan while Mithilesh talked about more about Samson. So it is all going to be a very interesting choice for India when they decide to pick on the wicket keeper. So we talked heavily about the top order, the top five of Team India so far. So now let's now dive down to the all rounders. And one of the names that always comes into our mind is the superstars, the superstar brothers, as we would like to call them. So both of them have been selected, the stars of the Mumbai Indians. Both the Pandya brothers have been selected for this tour, and it is actually a big series for both of them. Knowing that Hardik Pandya hasn't had too much of an experience bowling in the last couple of years or so since that injury he had in that Asia Cup in 2019. So there was one comment in the earlier part that should Hardik Pandya bowl some overs, or are we looking at him as a pure batsman in this series? Because Hardik Pandya's bowling is the key for our chances in the World Cup. So this is a pretty interesting one, because as we know that World Cup is just around the corner and we need to have that all-rounder in our squad. And I believe there is no better finisher right now in Team India side as compared to Hardik Pandya. He's a game changer with the bat. So Rishi, do you feel that Hardik Pandya, just as a pure batsman, qualifies into the Indian squad pretty much any day, or do you feel that he needs to have that ability to ball those crucial 2 or 3 overs to be guaranteed a spot in that World Cup team?
It's both the ways. You can say that he can play as a pure batsman as well. He has proved that in what a crucial series that was in Australia. So he didn't bowl a single ball in the ODI series. I think he bowled only 2 3 overs in the T20, but then he did not bowl anything in the ODIs. But then he still proved there that he can bat. He scored, I think, 290s if I'm not wrong, close to 90s, 290s, yeah. So he has that ability to just play as a batsman in the Indian team as well. But yeah, you can say that you can expect 2 3 overs from him, but that again depends on his condition, whether he can bowl. You cannot force him, right? Because he's improving from, I mean, not improving, you can say he's coming out from that injury. So if he's your elite player, you need to give him some time, let him come out of that injury, and then start let him start bowling. So maybe he's already bowling, but then he cannot bowl at the international stage as of now. But then, yeah, if you have to play him only as a batsman, of course, Sri Lanka, there's no other place than Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka, that team also has some spinners who Hardik Pandya can punish any day, and the conditions in Sri Lanka also favor him. But then, yeah, when you look at building a team, you'll of course expect maybe 2 or 3 overs from him, so that you can look out for another spinner, or maybe one less fast bowler you can look out at.
Mithilesh, I would just like to ask you this a similar question based on what to expect from Hardik Pandya in the World Cup. So we know that he is not going to bowl his full quota of overs, especially in the ODIs. We don't expect him to bowl 10 overs at least. So when the T20s come, when the three game T20 is being played, do you expect Hardik Pandya to roll his arm to bowl at least 1 or 2 overs, as we saw in that England series before the IPL? Do you feel that Hardik Pandya, the bowler, is needed for Team India in the World Cup, knowing that what kind of a game changer he could be? We saw that game against Bangladesh in that 2016 World Cup and how important he was for that victory. So, if Hardik Pandya is indeed not fit to bowl at least for this World Cup, what to make out of this situation if you were a Hardik Pandya fan?
Honestly speaking, if you look at Hardik Pandya, if he doesn't bowl a single over, but you can't drop him out from that playing 11, because the performance is just executing with his bat. I think is the one of the best finisher that we had in the Indian squad as of now, because no one can hit so strongly and can score at a strike rate of 200 than Hardik Pandya at that lower middle order. But yeah, looking at his bowling performance, I think before IPL he was bowling a bit of over in the English against the series against England, but in the IPL he was not bowling. So it's all depend on the management how they are working on his fitness. We don't have any update regarding his fitness as of now. We will come to know
Yeah.
during that Sri Lanka series only that he can bowl or not. On that basis, we can say that he's regarded as a proper all rounder for the T20 World Cup, or as a pure batsman down the order now for the T20 World Cup.
Yeah.
If I am a Hardik Pandya fan, or I am not a Hardik Pandya fan, but I need him as a finisher in that playing 11, because no one is better than him at that position, I think. And with the likes of Rishabh Pant in the middle order, I think that Hardik Pandya will be playing in that playing 11, regardlessly he bowls or not bowls.
Definitely, and even I agree with you on this that I believe nobody can replace Hardik Pandya, especially in the limited over circuit, and he's such an integral part of any side, even the ODI side as well as the T20 side. So even if he doesn't bowl, he qualifies straight away as the finisher. But you have to compensate those 2 or 3 overs in the shorter format if Hardik is not able to bowl. So let's talk about the other two all
Uh,
rounders in the squad.
I have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
question for you, Sanchit.
yeah, yeah.
Do you think has India failed maybe to uh, groom a player like Hardik Pandya, or maybe a player like Jadeja? Because whenever Jadeja and Hardik Pandya get injured, we have that that concern that who will replace these kind of boys. Because we do not have any kind of that much a player of that much caliber.
Definitely, I agree that India has been finding it difficult to find that perfect all-rounder that we have all been crying for. And I see one of the comments in the on the screen from Apurva Karnika that Deepak Chahar and Shardul Thakur could be a good all-rounder, knowing that they are no strangers with the bat as well. So we saw what Shardul Thakur can do with the bat in that Australia series, and even after the Australia series, in one of the games in the domestic season, he scored I think 90 of 57, and I
Yeah,
feel I feel that
right.
isn't something a bowler can do. I feel Shardul Thakur should be groomed properly as a batsman, but going forward, I feel we should be looking at a prospective all rounder. So we tried when Hardik Pandya was injured. We tried with someone like Vijay Shankar. We tried with someone like the legend Shivam Dube, but it hasn't really worked out for us. So yeah, I definitely get your point about not being able to find that replacement for Hardik Pandya, but I feel that India really needs an all rounder, especially in the Test format rather than the ODI format, ODI and T20 format, because of the bowling lineup we have already with the likes of Bumrah and even T Natarajan. If he's fit, he will be playing in that World Cup as well. So we really need to look maybe in the future in that building up to that 2023 World Cup. We really need an all rounder. So I really get your point on that.
Just need to ask both of you that we saw that Apurva Karnika just at the question about Shardul Thakur. That need to ask both of them. If you look at the Shardul Thakur, you can't compare Shardul and Hardik as a batsman because we know Hardik is far ahead of Shardul as a batsman. If you compare on the basis of bowling performance, I think Shardul is more fitter for replacing him
Yeah.
as an all rounder. But if we look at a Hardik Pandya, if he become fit by the time T20 World Cup, can we see uh, Hardik Pandya as an all-rounder? So, what's your take on this? If Hardik is not bowling, so will management will go with Shardul Thakur?
Rishi, you would like to take this?
I would say that Shardul Thakur has that ability to bat, but maybe he has not got that many chances to prove because he's maybe people believe that he's a bowler or maybe bowling all rounder sort of a player. So whenever he has got a chance, he has proved that he can bat. It's not like he can bat as good as Hardik Pandya, but yeah, he can bat. There's no you wouldn't be like अभी चलो ये आ गया अभी हम लोग को क्या हम लोग एक दो एक 5 से 10 रन में ऑल आउट हो जाएंगे ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. You can trust him for maybe 5 overs, 10 overs, maybe 15 or 20 overs as well. What we saw in Australia, so they did wonders there, right? He scored 60 runs. He showed, and it was not like not like the Bumrah's innings which he played in India A series, where Bumrah got a 50, but then almost all of those were edges and maybe not proper shots. But Shardul Thakur was actually a class. I mean, I don't know whether I should use this word, but then yeah, he was classical.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Shardul is definitely needs to be looked more upon as a batsman, but I
Exactly.
don't see him as a potential all rounder, especially for this upcoming T20 World Cup. I feel Hardik Pandya should still be looked at as an all rounder in that T20 World Cup because we know that he hasn't been bowling in the last couple of years to save himself for that World Cup. So we would definitely look at Hardik Pandya yet. So let us now stay on the topic of all rounders. So we discussed about the
Uh,
Pandya. Yeah,
Do you
go ahead,
think?
Rishi.
See, there's a question on top which said that Deepak Huda versus Nitish Rana. So should we take that question, or do you think that it is a no-brainer to go ahead
I
with Nitish Rana?
I honestly don't think what to make of that, but I think it's safe to say that Nitish Rana qualifies as of now. No, given that his
Yeah,
experience in that KKR lineup
Yes.
and
right.
what he could possibly bring in with his caliber, and knowing that he could give you that consistent performances with the bat at the top of the order. So it feels that Nitish Rana is quite clear ahead of Deepak Huda. Knowing, and also don't forget that Deepak Huda is indeed a good hitter of the ball. So if we look at from a T20 point of view, and if you are looking at a potential middle order player, then there might be a debate being cooked upon because we know that Deepak Huda could be handy with his off spin as well. So
But do you
that is
think
a
that Deepak Huda is inconsistent with his bat? Because we didn't see him, scoring that many runs in IPL. Maybe in this IPL we saw him only scoring maybe one match. I guess that one match made him a hero. But apart from that, I don't see any scores from him to make him, capable of being selected in India.
Exactly, and I don't think that both of these, to be very honest, with no disrespect to both of them, I feel both of them aren't ready to be playing for Team India as of right now. Because when we talk about playing for India, we see the players that we want to play at a certain position. And Nitish Rana currently, I don't feel that he was actually. I didn't expect Nitish Rana to be selected in this squad, knowing that our packed number of players at the top of the order. And to be honest, I don't see him as a middle order player as well. So I really don't get the point of having Nitish Rana in the squad just to have one player in the squad. I believe that someone
Yeah,
like even Sheldon Jackson could have been rewarded with for his domestic performance in the squad as well. So
but then
I
domestic. I mean, domestic performance. Even Nitish Rana has got right. Like he has been
Yes.
scoring consistently at domestic for Delhi. He has been leading the team also. I think whenever it is required, he has been leading the team, and then he has been playing for KKR as well. So maybe, and then there have been some times when they have declared. I mean, not declared, but somewhere in the press conference they have shared that Nitish Rana is sort of ready for India. Maybe that's where uh, the point got cleared that maybe he is ready. What do you think?
uh, if you look at this, if you look at the squad, most of the players can consider this series as a learning curve because our senior players in UK, when they will be come back
Yeah.
for the another T20 series, so that most of the players will be coming into the ODI squad and T20 circuit, and these players will not get an opportunity. Most of won't get that opportunity, but this series will be. They can consider as a learning curve, learn from the seniors, get that international experience, learn from Rahul Dravid sir. So this can be a learning opportunity. Work on your mistakes, work on your weakness. So this can be a learning curve. That's all I can say. But yes,
So before we move on to the ballers, so we talked heavily about the all-rounders. We forgot about two names that have been also picked, and that is the other Pandya brother, the Krunal Pandya. He's set to make his way back into the Indian squad, and quite deservingly. I think he really is a good player, but I feel that he's actually there to fill in the role that Jadeja used to do for Team India. So hoping that actually works for him in this Sri Lanka tour, because he could be. I don't see him playing in that T20 World Cup as a starter. I feel he could be as a backup, but this is actually a big series for him, and also Krishnappa Gautam as well. So I'm actually a huge fan of Krishnappa Gautam, and I feel that he could be actually looked at as the next big thing just because of his ability with the bat. To be honest, I was disappointed that he wasn't used quite a lot in the IPL. I honestly saw him starting for Chennai Super Kings in this IPL season, but it's really good to see that Gautam has made his way into the squad as well, and hoping that he gets at least one or two games and he could build on that. So, what do you guys think about these two all rounders?
I think Krunal Pandya, a no-brainer, will start as an all-rounder with as an all-rounder spinner into the squad. But yeah, looking at the Krishnappa Gautam, he has performed very well for Rajasthan Royals. Uh, it was not good that he doesn't get any game for the Chennai Super King. Even I was expecting that he will be the starter for CSK during this season, but you don't know what management thinks, and during IPL you can't expect any predict any 11 because they kept on changing. I think so, but yeah, Krishnappa Gautam is one of the assists, and if he gets an opportunity, one or two, 3 games, he can show what he can do and what he had done for the Rajasthan Royals before in the IPL. So yes, I think he should get 1 or 2 games for India in this tour.
What about you, Rishi? Do you think Gautam will be able to make his way into the 11 in this particular tour, or do you feel we should keep on going with someone like Krunal Pandya?
Maybe as a starter he wouldn't get, but then if we say that again, Rahul sir is the coach, so he has quoted that everyone in the squad will get get a chance to play. So maybe in that he might get. But then yeah, he has that ability to play for India. It's not like he's not ready. He has been ready for India for a long time. But then the quality of players which we have, they all overshadow players like Krunal Pandya or players like K Gautam. I have been watching K Gautam for a long time. He's from Bangalore. I'm from Bangalore, so I've been watching him for a long time. He's been playing for India A as well for a long time. He's been on international tours. He has been to New Zealand A. He has performed well. Maybe that was a longer format, but then he might just get 1 or 2 games here, and he can make it to the World Cup if he performs well, and if he if he is that promising, uh, he shows that promising approach.
Definitely, and we talked heavily about the top orders, our choices for wicket keepers, and even the all
Yeah.
rounders. But now this is going to be a very interesting part because for so long, I think we have all been crying for a good pace attack for Team India for years, and especially when we are touring abroad, and we always used to cry that India is only good with their spinners, but the pacers aren't as good as they are expected. But in the last 4 or 5 years, I feel India has actually evolved with the amount number of pace bowlers that are coming up the ranks, and we are seeing one of the comments here that currently India have sent 24 players in England and 24 players in Sri Lanka, so that almost adds up to 48 number of players. And if you look at playing 11 of both the teams, they can beat actually any team in the world. So this actually shows that our bench strength is at its peak, and we could honestly say that this is the golden period for Team India
Hmm.
right now that we are going in. So let us now talk about the fast bowlers that have been picked. So can we have the squad list on display? Yeah. So as we can see, the fast bowlers that are picked. So let us talk about fast bowler. Then we'll go to the spinners. So the fast bowler that have been picked is Chetan Sakaria, getting his maiden chance for Team India, and Deepak Chahar, Navdeep Saini. I mean that has been really a good pace attack. I feel we know that Chetan Sakaria has had a great IPL season, but let us talk about Chetan Sakaria here for the matter. So, Mithilesh, Chetan Sakaria's backstory has been really inspirational and motivational, especially after what that young guy has had to go through, and to come out of that and to have a splendid domestic season as well as a good IPL season as he started for Rajasthan Royals ahead of the experienced players like Jaydev Unadkat or even uh, Kartik Tyagi for that matter. So, Mithilesh, do you think Chetan Sakaria might just make his way into the 11 for Team India in this particular tour?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure I'm sure that he will get a game. I think he can make a debut in his first during the first game of for India, because the situation he has gone through from the past 3 to 4 months. He lost his father during this difficult phase, and the performance he had showed. If you are bowling at an economy of 8 in the IPL, I think that's the great thing. And the kind of performance he's just executing from that domestic season and even in IPL, he deserved to be in that playing 11. He deserved to be in that squad. He deserved to be going to that tour as a youngster. And this is a really a learning curve for him, getting that international exposure under the guidance of Rahul Dravid. And I think he will emerge as one of the good fast bowler for us. Looking at the slot that India is producing for the fast bowlers, I see him as a upcoming fast bowling talent. Just keep he need to keep work on his process and just execute his skills and everything. And I think he can be the one of that leading pace bowler in that grooming pace attack for India.
Definitely. And Rishi, before I ask you this question, so we know that India has always been crying for a left arm seamer, and we have actually saw that the resurgence of someone like T Natarajan in the Australia tour, as one of the comments has mentioned that we shouldn't forget that some players like Shreyash Iyer and Natarajan are standing back due to injuries. So even as the team is struck with quite a lot of injuries, we could still manage to pick out one of the best squad that could tour to Sri Lanka. So this actually shows our bench strength. So I think Chetan Sakaria will be an X factor kind of a player, an unpredictable kind of a player if he is making his way into the 11 for Team India. So we know that Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, as he is the vice captain, is definitely going to play in all the 6 games that is going to be playing. So talking about the second seamer, so we know that Bhuvi is going to play. Let us talk about someone like Deepak Chahar. So we talked about his ability with the bat, but we also know that Sri Lanka is a place where the ball actually tends to swing under lights, especially in the second innings. So maybe
Yeah.
someone like Deepak Chahar could be really well used along with Bhuvaneshwar Kumar in that early phase with the new ball. So Rishi, what are your thoughts on Deepak Chahar, and should we expect him to be a top contender for that World Cup spot in the 11?
So if you go see, starting of the series is going to be ODI. So I would prefer if Navdeep Saini is given a chance to build up his confidence. ahead of T20, ahead of ODI series. Let him play maybe 2 or 3 games in ODIs, and then if you even if you keep him out for or if you bring in Deepak Chahar for the T20 series, that would be better. But then yeah, as you mentioned that Deepak Chahar would be a very uh, crucial role in he'll be playing a very crucial role in the World Cup squad. You're very right that yes, Deepak Chahar we'll be looking forward to Deepak Chahar being in the World Cup 11. Why? Because he is the one who can swing the ball. Why MS Dhoni has been keeping him in the Chennai Super Kings for this long? Is that because he gets that those early wickets, those 2 3 early wickets in the power plays. So nobody, in India, maybe apart from Bhuvneshwar Kumar, has that ability to get those 2 3 wickets earlier. Um, so yeah, he'll be a very interesting choice. But I would prefer Navdeep Saini to be the second preference as an ODI bowler because he
Definitely.
has been
And
already playing. Yeah, he has been already playing ODIs for India. So why would you want to? Yeah, exactly. So you can get someone who has lost his confidence back, as we want, others like Kuldeep or maybe Chehel to get their confidence back. So we will talk about them later. But then yeah, at this moment, Saini. So I would want Saini as the second preference, and then if you want to give the third preference chance to Deepak Chahar as an ODI bowler, then yeah, you can go ahead with that. And then Chetan Sakaria, I mean, we all are happy for him. He has got his chances. He'll be proving, he has lost his sad ones. We are all sad about that, and they'll be all happy now that his family members who are there with him. They'll be happy about what he has done. He'll be proud of himself as well. He's playing for. He's got a country call up, and then he'll be making his debut as well. Hopefully, he makes his debut in at least one of the games. Maybe not in the first, maybe not in the second, but in the third game at least. So yeah, let's hope for the best.
definitely. And we saw one of the comments here talking about Bhuvaneshwar Kumar being rewarded as the vice captain. And it is always good to see that a fast bowler being rewarded with vice captaincy. It hardly
Yeah.
happens in Indian cricket. So, when was the last time a fast bowler was actually a vice captain, especially in a limited overs format? I remember in one of the games, Ishan Sharma was our vice captain in the test match, but I didn't I don't seem to remember some in limited overs this used to happen. So it is really great to see Bhuvaneshwar Kumar being
Yeah.
rewarded, especially after what he has had to go through in the last couple of years due to his injury. So he's definitely going to be playing all the 6 matches. So Mithilesh, Rishi made a good point about rotating your bowlers for the ODIs and as well as the T20. So maybe using someone like Deepak Chahar and Navdeep Saini in the longer format, that is the ODI, and maybe saving the unpredictable nature of Chetan Sakaria for the T20. So do you think that this kind of an approach will be good for the players, as we know that Rahul Dravid will look to play most number of players in this particular tour?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with the Rishi. I agree with Rishi about that going with the Seni for that ODI series because he just need to gain his confidence. We saw during that Australia series that he lost his confidence. He was getting hit by the duo opener of Warner and Finch. So yes, looking at the experience that Seni brings into the ODI squad, I think he can go for as a bowler, second pacer with Bhuvi in that ODI squad. And yes, we can see Deepak Char bowling those 4 overs during that power play. As you mentioned, that Sri Lanka is known for the condition that underline the ball gets swing. So yes, I
Yeah.
can see that Deepak Char will come into the squad for the T20, and I'm sure that Deepak Char can play all the 3 games. If looking at his bowling in the T20s, we know that how MS Dhoni just use him as a T20 bowler, and even he has a bit of experience into the international side as a T20 bowler. So yes, I agree with the Rishi that Sani can be the second pacer for ODI and Deepak Char as a pacer uh, for the T20. Then Chetan Sakaria can be that magical bowler that can get the wickets or two and can turn the match around. As we saw that Natarajan has turned the series for India during that Australia
Yes.
too. So now Chetan Sakaria can be that person for India.
Definitely, and we are already seeing comments coming in about their preferred seamers to be playing in this 11. So we saw seeing one comment from Vignesh. He's saying that the three seamers for India, according to him, will be Bhuvi, Deepak Char, and Saini. And to be honest, that is actually a good lineup. So let us now talk about the all important one, and that is the spinners. So we know that India is always known for its spinners, and India has always produced some great spinners over the years. And currently, I think apart from one or two players, India is actually lacking that depth in spinners, especially with players going out of form. So we are seeing players like Yuzvendra Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav losing that groove in the last couple of years. So this kind of a tour will actually be helpful for both of them. So let us start talking about spinners by talking about the two wrist spinners, the famous duo of Kulcha that used to be calling them in that famous 2018 tour to South Africa. So let us talk about Kulcha here. So as we know, Yuzvendra Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav both are selected in the squad. So let us talk about both of them. Rishi, do you feel Kuldeep Yadav will be getting a game ahead of let's say Rahul Char for that matter, in at least in the starting period?
I just hope that yes, he does. First of all, it will be a question whether India would go with three spinners, maybe one or two all-rounder spinners, and then one like complete spinner like a Kuldeep Yadav or a Chahal. So that would be a question, or if India would go with two genuine spinners. I mean, or would they go with two all-rounder spinners like like Krunal Pandya and Koe Gautam, or maybe Varun Chakravarti. So Varun Chakravarti is also an interesting option here. So he'll be a very great competition for Kuldeep Yadav if he gets fit. So Kuldeep Yadav, whenever he gets chance, he has to prove himself here, because this there cannot be any better condition than Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka, the pitches support wrist spinners there. They support, even they'll be supporting Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal for the fact. But Rahul Chair would be there for the scare of Chahal. We all know how much Rahul Chahar is capable of. He has proved that in the IPL recently, and even he'll be banging the door for his. He has already made his debut, but then he needs to get that match also. He cannot just come in, then go out, then come in and go out. That's what has been happening for him. He has played last game in 2019, and then again he got a chance right now in 2021. So that shouldn't happen, right? It's actually sad for players like Rahul Chahar. So he has been consistent, but then just because of a player like Chahal, he has been out. And it's not like Chahal has been consistently performing. He has been out of form, but then India has been giving him more chances to gain confidence, gain that form. So maybe
Definitely.
here you might see spinners being rotated, and because India needs to fix those two spinners or three spinners whom India will go with in the World Cup for the T20s.
Exactly. And talking about spinners, there is an interesting comment made here that will Dew impact toss and team selection, especially in terms of picking the spinners. So we know that Dew is always a very integral part of Sri Lanka cricket, and I think in Sri Lanka, with all the conditions that is there, I think Dew will play a massive part. So maybe picking two wrist spinners would prove out to be a deadly kind of a thing for Team India. So Mithilesh, I would just like to ask for your opinion, knowing that you are a diehard RCB fan. So we know that Yuzvendra Chahal hasn't been performing in the last 1 year or so, and since he is actually an integral part of the Indian side, as Virat Kohli himself rates him very much high. But if, let's say, hypothetically, if Rahul Chahar actually starts ahead of Yuzvendra Chahal based on the current form, and Rahul Chahar has a splendid series, maybe taking 15 to 16 wickets more in this particular tour, do you feel that Yuzvendra Chahal's position in that T20 World Cup would be under threat if Rahul Chahar performs to his potential?
I think definitely yes, but looking at the experience that Chal bring into the side, I don't think that Rahul Char will be the first preference for as a spinner into the
Yeah.
Indian squad into the starting playing 11, because we know that from that after the Champions Trophy 2017 we have seen Kulcha bowling together for India during even in overseas series. We saw that during 2018 series against England. We saw that against South Africa. Then again in New Zealand. I think during 2019 ODI series. And I think Yudvinder Char had mentioned in the past 1 month that if Ravindra Jadeja is playing into the playing 11, then me and Kuldeep can't bolt together, can't play together. And even Kuldeep has mentioned about his bowling that he has just changed his technique. He was bit quicker through the air. That he told that I was just copying Rashid Khan about the bowling scene. That he mentioned that I am a kind of bowler who just need to give the air to the ball. He can't bowl quicker through the air. So these things that he has to figure out. And I think more than its technical skills, he just need to get that confidence back. I think he's not getting any
Yeah,
team, any game, and he just drop out of the test squad. I remember that Ravi Shastri told after that Australia series during that 2018-19 that Kuldeep will be a frontline spinner when we go overseas, and then just getting drop and drop, not getting a match,
exactly.
and now just kick out of the test squad. So I don't the morale and the confidence and got literally down. And I think Rahul Dravid as a coach, he will work on his confidence, and I think that Rahul Dravid will give a chance to both the spinners, Yuzi or Kuldeep. And not
Mm.
only in the match, even in during the nets, I think Rahul Dravid will work on their techniques, and that will be a great experience for both of them and for each and every player to get their confidence back. And yes, that will be the key. But I see using the Chal as a starting spinner ahead of Rahul Chahar.
Definitely, and we could very well possibly see all the players that have been picked for this tour. Maybe maybe playing one or two matches in this tour, as we know that Rahul Dravid would certainly want to test each and every player. So there we have it. We discussed, I think, almost all the players who have been picked. So can we have the graphic of the squad of Team India displayed once again just before we move on to the net ballers? So yeah, as you can see, we discussed almost all the players that have been picked for the India's tour to Sri Lanka. Talked about the top order, the wicket keepers, the all rounders, the bowlers, the spinners especially. So the experts on our panel thinks that maybe taking a different approach towards maybe playing certain bowlers for the ODIs and certain bowlers for T20s would be the right approach for Team India in this particular tour, and that could very well be a great thing to watch out for, as we would see almost all the players given a proper chance. And it was a great healthy discussion comprising of almost 1 hour. So before we wrap up, let us now talk about the net ballers as well. So a quick word, guys. We know that the importance of net ballers has been seen massively, especially after seeing the likes of T Natarajan rising through the ranks since he was a net bowler in that Australia tour, picked as a net bowler for that Australia tour. So these guys that have been selected as the net bowlers: Ishan Poral, Sandeep Warrior, Arshdeep Singh, Sai Kishore, and Simarjit Singh. I think Simarjit Singh has had a splendid backstory to tell. So, Mithilesh, your word on the net ballers being picked up for today, and what could we expect from this bunch of youngsters for the future of Indian cricket?
I think we can expect a lot from this bunch of youngsters. And if you're getting selected as a net bowler, it's a great opportunity for you. Just go and learn with the senior players, with your coach. And I'm happy for Simarjit Singh, based on his domestic performance, that he has been selected as a net bowler. He will get his chance into the Indian squad, but he should be happy that he's getting an opportunity as a net bowler, touring with the experienced player into the side, and with the most of the legendary player as a coach. So it's a learning curve, and we can expect more from these youngsters. That all depends on the management, how they just groom these youngsters, because we can see a transition period coming in further 1 or 2 years. So we want these youngsters to get more and more opportunity, not only as a net bowler but also into the squad and getting those international exposure, playing those IPL regularly. Even that IPL teams management should look this youngster as their future. So yeah, we can expect a lot. It just depends upon how they learn and just groom their skills. And yeah, we can expect brilliancy from, and we can see the Indian cricket just going ahead and ahead, and we see a lot of young talents coming up for the Indian cricket.
Definitely. And Rishi, before you wrap up, I would just like to ask you one question that has been raised in the comments, and a pretty interesting one, because I think Arshdeep Singh deserved as equal chance as Chetan Sakaria to be picked in that main squad. So it definitely
Yes.
had to be a toss up, as mentioned by Saurabh Desai in the comments, that it was going to be a difficult choice. So how close was Arshdeep Singh to make it up into the final squad. So yes, Chetan Sakaria has had a brilliant domestic season and the IPL as well, but Arshdeep has also had a good season as well, and even he did it in 2020 as well. So Rishi, I would just like to ask for your thoughts as Arshdeep being picked up as a net bowler rather than being picked up in the main squad. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So as you made that point earlier in the show that you felt that Nitish Rana shouldn't have been picked. So maybe I feel that slot that Nitish Rana slot is one which was lacking, and maybe that slot was deserved by Arshdeep Singh more than him. And even if you say that comparing Arshdeep Singh and Chetan Sakaria, I think yes, Arshdeep Singh. To be fair, you know. He deserved that slot because he has been playing from 2018. I mean, he was in the World Cup, under 19 World Cup with Prithvi Shaw. They had won the World Cup there. He was a good performer there. Then last year also he was playing, and even this year also he has been the go-to man for KL Rahul. We saw him winning a crucial match from in the last over. So I think that he would have been a better choice if not Chetan Sakaria's replacement. But then yes, we can see him in the future, in such tours only. That these limited over tours, going touring maybe South Africa, or touring Zimbabwe, or touring West Indies maybe. So yeah, we there's no lost opportunity. He can work hard. He can keep doing what he's doing here. It's not like he's going to learn something else from the other tour. He's going to be traveling and be staying with these same players only. So he can learn with he can learn from Bhuvneshwar Kumar, or maybe even from the captain Shikhar Dhawan. So he has so much experience. You can learn from him. It's not like he's not a bowler, so he doesn't know anything. Of course he does. He's been that captain material. So yeah, there's a lot of learning experience. We have to
Definitely.
just see what's the positive from it.
Exactly, and as you rightly pointed out, that this shouldn't be the end of those players who
Yeah.
haven't actually been selected. This should actually be the start of a new era for
Yes.
Team India as we build on to that upcoming series. And just on the closing, let us take one comment from Vignesh here, which is a pretty interesting one. That India have a variety of net bowlers: Ishan Porel and Simarjeet, right arm medium fast; Sandeep Warrior balls quicker; Arshdeep a left-handed pacer; and at last Sai Kushore a left arm spin. So we have that sense of variety in our backups as well. So it is safe to say that the future of Indian cricket is in bright hands, and hoping that this multi-squad approach that we took right now, having the main squad play simultaneously along with the second team, I think this should be the way forward, because this would actually help us to identify the key talents that are going to be playing for Team India as well. So gentlemen, it has been a wonderful session discussing. Yeah, Rishi, on closing you
One
want to
last point,
mention?
yeah.
Yeah.
So even a player like Riyan Parag looks very promising if you have seen him. I mean, yes, he's been in Rajasthan Royals, not winning so many matches, but then yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to disappoint you, Sanchit, with this, but then yeah, he has been promising if you see from an Indian team point of view. So it's good to if they groom him, if they groom him from that Indian point of view for the future. He can be a good slot at number 6, number 7 batting, and then he can bowl also. So yeah, he can be a good, an all-rounder like we had Suresh Raina, or we had an all-rounder like Yuvipa. Maybe he wouldn't, of course, Yuvipa and Suresh Raina were the greatest, but then he can be a replacement like that in the Indian team.
I
Definitely.
think adding to Rishi's point for Riyan Parag, I saw from the last 1 or 2 years, he's not winning the match for RR, but he's trying his heart out to win
Yes.
those matches for RR, because he has the ability to hit that big shots and take the game closer, quick score at a quick strike rate. So he's trying his heart out to win those matches for RR, and I think this is the steps that he need to work on his process, and he one day he will get his reward, and one day he will get a medal caller for Team India. Just finger crossed. And we, as a Indian fan, we
Yeah.
should be happy that we are producing such great talents. And we are a team that we are standing two different teams at a two different venue with a squad of 24. It's not a joke. It's just a hard work that management has done, and the players are taking that responsibility. It's just a great thing for India cricket going ahead.
Definitely, and as you rightly pointed out, that sending two teams to two different locations is not a joke, and that just shows that what kind of a revelation IPL has been to this young players' career, and this is only going to get better and better for Team India. And
Yeah.
as both of you talked about Riyan Parag, there are many more players who deserve to be talked about as much. So we have the likes of Shah Rukh Khan and everything coming up there, every other player coming up the ranks. So definitely, the future of India is bright for in the next couple of years as well. So, gentlemen, as almost 1 hour 6 minutes discussion, I think it was still not enough to dive down into the talent that Team India has in place. But unfortunately, we are actually limited of time. But for now, whatever we have discussed, I think it was a great discussion. And thank you everyone in the who have joined us in the comments as well. Your insight has been really well for us, and that actually helped us to have a constructive discussion about the players who have been picked for the Sri Lanka squad as well. So before we close, let us have the schedule on display as well, so we know that what we are looking forward to. So we know that India is going to tour Sri Lanka in the month of July. We are going to play 3 ODIs and 3 T20s. So the squad that has been picked is going to play a 6 match series in Lanka, as the main squad will be practicing for the England tour that is in hand. So thank you once again for joining us, everyone. Make sure to follow the Third Man Cricket Show as we bring you all the daily analysis on match days, talk about these kind of decisions on trending topics, and weekly podcast episodes, and also we bring you some great experts on our special show that is the Experts Corner as well. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also make sure to hit that bell icon so you don't miss out any updates on our upcoming content. So on closing, I would just like to mention all of you to ensure yourself to be keeping yourself safe and keeping your loved ones safe, and ensure to get yourself vaccinated as early as possible. And in this fight for COVID, we will fight against COVID. We are going to be reigning victorious one day. So till then, I hope you all have a great evening, and make sure to watch out for our post stump session for day two. That For the ongoing test match between England and New Zealand. I think it would be around 11 p.m. So make sure to tune into that show as well. So till then, hope you have a great evening. Take care. Peace out.
Thank you.